meal.
Bong. You're in love with me. Snoochie booches, huh?
Well, fuck that. In the bathroom.
First time I met Kevin, I was came in to audition for Mallrats. I think I originally read for the lead, T.S.
Everybody who came in read for T.S. first.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So then I got kind of marginalized out into the category of people who are going to read for like small, lesser roles. But I managed to get that one, so I came back again.
The reason being because you were considered by one of the producers to be too big.
Too big
and too potty
profane.
mouth. And I was just like, well, I don't know, but I can't speak to the big thing, the potty mouth. He's in the right picture.
The man's too big and he swears too much. My kind of guy. So we we worked together and we had a good time, and I got to know Kevin on Mallrats, and then that's where we first started hanging out and stuff.
The day he had come in to audition, like 2 days or the day before that, him and Matt had sold Good Will Hunting to Castle Rock at that point, so they were both in the trade. So when he came in, I actually had something to talk to him about more so than just like
it was always the great
stuff.
thing when you're auditioning for stuff is to have something to say, because most of the time you just feel like I have nothing to offer. I'm just here with my hat in my hand trying to get a part so that I have something to say the next time I go.
But he didn't have. I mean, it was real like you had the benefit of not seeming hat in your hand because you just sold a movie, a script. So it was just kind of like, holy, this guy's a peer as a writer. He obviously sold something that must have touched somebody. They picked it up. So we talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah, and then I had a lot. Actually, Kevin was very helpful during the course of making the movie. I'd fly back to LA and have some meeting at Castle Rock, go through something, and have some kind of anecdotes when I came back and stuff. So we had a good time, and I urged Kevin to continue. I had to ask him formally in a written request to continue his friendship with me.
When he would leave, like, because he wasn't shooting every day, and so he would be like, hey, would you mind if I went back to Los Angeles and worked on the script? We have a meeting with Meathead, who is Rob Reiner, who played, well, he played
Meathead. I
called him Meathead. Yeah, and at that time you called him Sir. Because he was the guy, one of the partners in Castle Rock. He's like, so we're going to go have a meeting, and I'm not shooting, would you mind if I went? I said, yeah, dude, as long as you're not working, I don't care, go back. And he would do the most endearing thing in the world, and he denies it to this day, but he's wrong. He would write notes. He'd write a little note and leave it on the desk, and it was just like, you're embarrassed, dude, but it got you this far in life.
I was like, do you like me? Check this box.
It was. Yes. It was a MASH note, essentially. It was like, I like you so much. Now he was just like, I'm having a really good time on the movie.
That must be some Jersey slang.
You ever heard of a MASH note?
No.
Did you ever hear of a MASH note?
Of course,
It's a girl.
River.
Oh, yeah, a girl from Jersey. But he would write a note where he was just like, hey, thanks for letting me go, and I'm having a real good time making the movie, and I'll see you when I get back. Nobody writes anymore, even then. So it was kind of like, the first time I read it, I was like, oh, that's awfully kind. And he left 2 other times and left 2 other notes as well. And I was just like, either this dude is the king of the suck-ups or is sincere and genuine.
Suck-up. It's like, put me in another movie, bro.
I bought it.
I love you.
At the end of the picture, he was like, and he denies this too. He says that he was putting on a show. But he was like,
this actually is false. Now this is not false. When he tells a lie.
This is not false. He said, where are you going to cut the movie? In New Jersey or in LA? So we're going back to LA. He's like, when you're there, you should call me, man. We should hang out because I'm a good guy. Literally, that is a quote, dude.
I said, you should give me a call. You should hang out. Because and he was
like,
I don't go out. I don't go out. I don't really socialize with people. I don't go out. I was like, what do you think? It's just a house with like some friends or whatever. Come over. He was like, no, I don't really do that. I like to play Sega and I stay home. And I was like, look, dude, I'm a perfectly nice guy. It's not no one's gonna bite you. Maybe I said something like that. Like, what do you think we're gonna do?
Maybe not. Trust me, my memory is long and elephantine, and trust me.
I'm a good man.
I didn't say you were like that. I didn't say you were pleading and fucking, on your knees and like a moppet, a street urchin. But you were like, we should hang out. I'm a good guy. State this case. And I was like, yeah, all right. And he was a good guy, so we started chilling out more, and then. And that's where I kind of fell in love with him, actually hanging out with him off the set, because he's a smart guy, funny guy, and good guy.
Good hand job.
He gives a hell of a hand job.
I like to pick up girls on the rebound from a disappointing relationship. They're more vulnerable, they're much more in need of solace, and they're fairly open to suggestion. and I used that to fuck them someplace.
It wasn't Ben's performance in Mallrats that made me go, oh yeah, he's the romantic lead in Chasing Amy, because he was the dude that fucks chicks.
That's not appropriate. People don't want to hear that.
Unrated
That's vulgar,
extras
sir.
on a
There's
PG-13.
women in this room. Do you see? Look around here.
Built my career on it. Got a wife off of it.
Well, that may be true.
There it is.
But
So it was really from hanging out with him and knowing him, you know, outside of the work that it was. I was like, oh God, he could totally be the leading man.
Why are we stopping?
Because I can't take this.
Can't take what?
I love you.
I remember you doing that monologue in the car, which was a home run, and you smacked out of the park, and we didn't really do it. I think it was only 2 takes of it.
You love me.
I love you. And not in a friendly way. Although I think we're great friends. And not in a misplaced affection, puppy dog way. Although I'm sure that's what you'll call it. I love you. Very, very simple. Very truly. You are the epitome of everything I have ever looked for in another human being. And I know that you think of me as just a friend, and crossing that line is the furthest thing from an option you would ever consider, but I had to say it. I can't take this anymore. I can't stand next to you without wanting to hold you. I can't look into your eyes without feeling that longing you only read about in trashy romance novels. I can't talk to you without wanting to express my love for everything you are.
I don't remember, but I know that it really
lion's
freaks me out
share
because
was
I'd
taken
never
from
done
the one
anything in a
take.
movie that was going to be that much, that intense.
Especially that, because you don't have anything. You're not bouncing off of the other person's dialogue.
And we had no time. We didn't have the luxury of like, oh, well, don't worry if we spend the whole day shooting. If we don't get up, come back tomorrow. There was like this enormous pressure, just in terms of, you know, we only have this location and da 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 da. I mean, that's really, it was very much like working without a net, you know, particularly when doing that stuff. I assumed that later on that you would look at that and cut out about half of it.
And you assumed incorrectly.
I did. I assumed wrong. I was wrong.
I remember.
Not the first or last time I was wrong.
No. Throw a rock and hit one of the times you've been not right, as we like to say on the set. That's just not right.
Alyssa, there isn't another soul on this fucking planet who has ever made me half the person I am when I'm with you. And I would risk this friendship for the chance to take it to the next plateau, because it is there between you and me. You can't deny that. Even if, you know, even if we never talk again after tonight, please know that I am forever changed because of who you are and what you've meant to me. Which, while I do appreciate it, I'd never need a painting of birds bought at a diner to remind me of.
I once said that Chasing Amy, I say often that Chasing Amy is a movie about male sexual insecurity. What do you say about it?
I say that who would know better about that than Kevin Smith?
I remember when we were making the movie, you identified with the material hardcore because your heart had been broken and whatnot.
I still was maybe the most, that's the most, definitely the most realistic, in a weird way, movie that I've ever done. Most kind of closest to my own sphere of experience.
It's fucking flat out science fiction, because the day you can turn a fucking lesbian into a straight woman, I'll eat my hat. I'll eat your fucking hat.
You'll eat more than that, sir.
It would never happen, dude. You could barely charm a straight woman, let alone a fucking gay woman. That's science fiction. So go ahead, keep talking about how realistic it is.
It was a realistic picture, dude, about you and your love for, your confusion for sexual love with male fraternal friendship, which is why he has me making out with the Jason Lee character in the movie.
No, I couldn't stop you from making out with Jason Lee in the movie.
Oh, I gotta get going. I gotta catch the last few minutes of Little House.
I was like, dude, we could probably lose
I was
this.
like, are we gonna shoot this goddamn scene or what? I'm not saying anything. I just want to shoot it. I mean, who wants to get down?
And you're sporting wood, and people were a little put off by it.
Dude, it's like, we're in our 30s.
You're like, my pants
now,
are just
we
gathered.
Can't be making these jokes. This is sad. Tent pitching jokes. Shit, it's heartbreaking.
I don't think there isn't a cutoff age for those kind of jokes. I hope not. My career is based on it.
Yeah, well, Chasing Amy was kind of successful at Sundance. People liked it, got some good notices, and
Kind of successful. We got a standing ovation at Sundance for Chasing Amy. Let's do. It's kind of.
but that's like half family and friends, bro.
No, dude. Who was there? I had no family there.
brought your-
Apparently, I had no friends there. If you were there as well.
It did great. No, I mean, like coming out of there, and then it was definitely a hot movie at Sundance. Everybody thought it was a big deal,
Yes.
and he did.
And after that is when you took off at a certain point. Your career took off big time, like following Chasing Amy.
The Oscars happened during Dogma.
And between Chasing Amy and Good Will Hunting, you fucking went off huge. Like, what's his name? Bruckheimer liked Chasing Amy quite a bit, and then that's when he started looking at you for Armageddon.
Yeah, off Chasing Amy.
And he'd call. I think Harvey actually put in a call to him too, going, "Look, he's also got this movie, Good Will Hunting, which he's great." And blah blah blah.
Harvey was very helpful.
So he, Armageddon, he became.
Harvey always called Armageddon Armageddon.
Armageddon.
He was like, I mean, this Armageddon, you should do this.
That's because Armageddon's referenced in the New Testament, and Harvey's more of
Hasn't
an
read
Old
that book
Testament.
yet,
Yeah, and Harvey, you say New Testament, he's like, who's what? Who's Jesus?
That's a bullshit. That's paperback. So, anyways, we did Chasing Amy. We premiered it. Good Will Hunting happened, which Kevin was a producer of and instrumental in getting made. And then
Dogma.
after Chasing Amy, he was like, after we finished, not before, but when we finished Chasing Amy, you were like, I want you to be in Dogma, which made me really happy.
Yes and no.
It was
was when you came to Red Bank, and we
it
were
was in
talking
Red
about Good Will Hunting and seeing if we can get into Miramax. And I said,
we
I'm going to
just
give you
finished
pages
shooting-
I'm going to give you pages for Chasing Amy. I gave you the first 40 pages for Chasing Amy.
Just because you said
and you said
conviction
40
doesn't make
pages,
it
dude?
true.
It does. Well, watch. I'll fucking.
You
I'll
did
be like
give me
your
Dogma
story.
the script then, but you didn't offer me the part then.
Let me finish the story. Fucking, it's so tainted by fucking all the shit that happens to famous people when they get famous. But
get
me,
crazy.
who's been under the radar, I keep sharp and fucking
You're a glory
honest.
whore like nobody in the world. But anyway.
I gave him 40 pages of Chasing Amy script, and then we had to send him home on a train from Red Bank because nobody wanted to take the ride to Boston. It's about 4 hours from Red Bank.
No, dude, it's in New York. I was going back to New York
You were
City.
going to Boston. You came from New York, but then you had to go to Boston.
Yeah, but no one would even give me a ride back to Manhattan. No. And you wouldn't pay for a car service or anything.
we would do it.
So you're like, we can drop you off at the commuter train.
And we did, and it's an easy train. It's a PATH train, whatever. Anyway,
Hey, mine
so
at
there
the
were
time.
40 pages of Chasing Amy, and he's like, I'm going to be done with this real quick. And I said, well, he said, you got anything else? And I said, did you ever read Dogma, that script I wrote? He said, no. And I said, well, here, take that. And he read it. When he got back to Boston, it wasn't New York, when he got to Boston, the dude called me up, and he goes, dude, let me tell you, that Dogma is fucking fantastic, man. That's brilliant. And I was like, well, what about Chasing Amy? He goes, that's fine, chick, lesbian, whatever. But that Dogma script.
That sounds like this. No, it was unfinished, and Dogma was really... Chasing Amy was just the beginning of a kind of romance story, and it was intently taken for me. But Dogma was like, I had never anything like it. It was inventive. It was wild, angels and monsters, and funny, and taking Catholicism and contextualizing it in a modern era. I mean, I thought it was brilliant. I later revised my opinion of it,
Yeah,
but
he's changed since,
it's kind of the execution is what's
This dude's all about the pulse. Like, what do people say about it
hot?
now? That's what I think.
What's in now? What's happening now? Who's hot? Who am I? So
And for some reason, you're Stevie Wonder when you do it. You have to touch things as you figure out.
So then I
balls.
wanted to do it, but then you didn't offer me the part. Then we shot
I told
Chasing
you that
Amy.
day when you told
No,
me you loved
fool.
it. I was just like, dude, you can totally be in the movie. I put
That's
you
a
in the movie in a
fucking
heartbeat.
lie,
That
Kevin.
is not a lie.
You didn't offer me the movie until
The
we
conviction
finished.
is like, that's a fucking lie, Kevin.
That's your style.
Is
I'm
it?
going with your approach. Like, oh, well, open your
serious
eyes
self?
wide and be serious. No. So we go back. We shoot Chasing Amy. At the end of it, he's like, look, I want you to play this part. I wanted to play a different part.
Then Bartleby, you did not. Who'd you want to? You
That's a
liar.
lie.
See, there it is. Lies. Count them.
But we did offer it to me. I was really excited, but I thought they probably wouldn't let me do it. Actually, I was like, Kevin saying yes, but like this is a different thing. He's gonna need more money, and they're not just gonna go
There's
for
another
the, like,
movie that I actually had to agree to do for less because I wanted to stick with my cast. But at that point, you weren't the liability because they had Good Will Hunting with you, so they knew.
I think Kevin's
there was
movies
something
are really.
there.
I think.
God forbid I finish a fucking
Well,
thought.
it's
you
just getting boring.
know?
You know what I
dude,
mean? I
trust
have
me.
a-
Be the guy standing to
I
your
have a
right,
story-
listening to you go on and
I have
on.
a storytelling
And just sitting there
instinct.
knowing
I
the
feel like we're
audience,
losing
going
them.
like, we've
You feel all
lost
these
them.
people here
As soon as this
just like,
clown
here he
opens his
goes,
mouth,
Pulp
starts talking
Fiction,
about
yeah, yeah.
Proust. We're out of here. We're done.
Cut that out. Cut that out of this DVD. I don't want anything that was just said in this. Walk off this fucking set. Go ahead, finish what you're saying. I was gonna say something nice about you, but
I
you
think
know
I
what?
was done.
Fuck it.
I was
Changed my
basically gonna
tune.
give a prop. I was gonna give props to the performers because you know it is tricky kind of material to pull off, and it reads kind of well on the page, but like in bad hands, it just comes off poorly. And thankfully, you know, the cast pulled it off. I thought your performance was really good, and unfortunately, I made the mistake while we were making Dogman. It's one I'll never make again. Where I was so proud of the work that we're putting into it, and proud of the work that you were doing, that I said that I thought you would get an awards nomination, and people won't let me forget it to this day. Anytime I write about a movie I'm in production on, they're like, well, you said Affleck, we get Oscar nominated for Dogman. I'm like, you know, don't fucking, he should have, all right? That's it, that's all I'm saying.
That's the correct answer.
Totally.
Yeah. Robbery.
It was fucking flat out
Highway
robbery.
Daylight robbery.
Academy, they don't know.
And then after that, and then Kevin and I were just kind of more friends than anything else. We just hung out and stuff. He was doing the Jay and Bob movie, and was lucky that they were, you know, got to do some stuff in that, which was really fun. And
Wow, look at these morose motherfuckers right here. Smells like somebody shit in their cereal. Bung. That was good. Come on in. So, what brings you two dirt merchants to my neck of the woods?
Oh, I'll tell you what our necks are doing in your woods. Where's our motherfucking movie check?
You heard about that, huh? I got nothing to do with it. That's Banky's deal. He owns the property now. I sold my half of the Blunt Man and Chronic rights to him years ago.
Why the fuck would you do a thing like that?
Why in God's name would I want to keep writing about characters whose central preoccupation is weed and dick and fart jokes? I mean, you gotta grow, man. Don't you ever want anything more for yourself? I know this poor hapless son of a bitch does. I look into his sorry doe eyes and I see a man crying out. He's crying out, when, Lord? When the fuck can your servant ditch this foul-mouthed little chucklehead to whom I am a constant victim of his folly, so much so that it prevents me from ever getting to kiss a girl? Fuck, when, Lord, when? When's gonna be my time?
I always saw that as a kind of a clerk scene, kind of a mall rat scene kind of thing.
Very Mallratsian, more than
Mallratsian.
Clerksian, more like just kind of lowbrow, fun humor.
Or
and
if a
stuff.
movie like Mallrats, if you can put the suffix IAN at the end, if it warrants that, you know what I mean?
Kinda-
Like,
people
you
say
can-
Affleckian, so why
I
can't
don't
you say
know. They say
Mallratsian?
Proustian, but I'm not sure they say Mallratsian. Anyway,
What response do you hope to elicit by putting this kind of pressure on the clit?
Well, it's a difficult situation. You don't want to rub the clit the wrong way.
Nights like this, I miss dating a lesbian.
I had a really good time, interestingly enough, reprising my Chasing Amy character in Jay and Bob. That was all right. The picture was another kind of, dick and fart, hand down your trousers kind of picture
Unbelievable.
that Kevin likes to do.
The only movie that lent you any credibility that year, I'd say.
Was Jay and Bob?
Yeah,
yes,
totally.
That's true. It actually just turned out to be Kevin making fun of all the other movies that I had done. You know, he was like, wrote me some dialogue. He's like, then you shit on this movie that you did. Then you say bad shit about this other movie you did. I make fun of the effects in Dogman. You're like, I'm sure that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. Meanwhile, you write me lines like about destroying reindeer games and all the pretty horses in every fucking movie me and Matt had ever done.
What, you're the director now?
Hey, shove it, bounce boy. Let's remember who talked to him into doing this shit in the first place. I mean, talking me into dogma is one thing. but
Look,
this is-
you know, I'm sorry I dragged you away from whatever gay serial killers who ride horses and like to play golf touchy-feely picture you're gonna do this week.
I take it you haven't seen Forces of Nature.
You're like a child. What do I keep telling you? You gotta do the safe picture, then you do the art picture. And then sometimes you gotta do the payback picture because your friend says you owe him. And then sometimes you gotta go back to the well.
Yeah, sometimes you do reindeer games.
See, that's just mean.
We do play him for the kind of chump and the fool because he's our most successful friend. But then he said something about it, and I kind of I got a little tight about it, where I was just like, did I ever hurt your feelings? And he's like, dude, no. But inside he was crying.
Inside I
He
was
a
like,
sad
finally you
clown.
realize that you're hurtful, that words have power, Kevin.
I don't like the sound of them apples. Well, what are we gonna do?
Jackie,
Yeah?
it's hunting season. Applesauce, bitch.
Sorry to interrupt, sirs, but we've got a 10:07 on our hands.
Oh, Jesus, again, Ben?
No bullshit, because I wasn't with a hooker today. Ha ha! There they are! Affleck, you the bomb in Phantom, Joe!
Hunting season. That was actually the only interesting, funny piece of screenwriting Kevin Smith has ever done. Interestingly, it was.
If I accomplished anything in that movie, it's making his life more miserable as people walk up to him in the street and go, Affleck, you the bomb and
every
fandom
day
show.
of my life. Sporting events, everywhere I go, people say, Affleck, you're the bomb. Oh, sporting events all the time.
Are you the Ollie Trinky? The one who used to work at Mandel Kirshner?
Yeah, that was.
Son of a. Yes! I told you, Reynolds. Pay up!
I got it.
Am I missing something?
No, he just bet me you were the Ollie Trinky, the one who pulled the Fresh Prince.
They named it?
Of course. Are you kidding? You're a legend, man. You did what every flack only dreams about doing.
Which was what?
You went apeshit. You trashed your client back to the Stone Age.
Yeah.
We bow to you, man. You're like a god around here.
Yep, exactly.
God enough to get a job?
No.
You insane?
So following all that, we did Jersey Girl.
And we did Jersey Girl.
And have regretted it every day of our lives
so
since.
Sorry. We had fun, and actually it was like, I always saw Jersey Girl as very much a throwback to, in a way, Kevin is a man who's repeated the same 3 movies throughout his career. Clerks, Mallrats, and Chasing Amy. Those are the 3 movies that Kevin Smith has in him. And it hasn't ended, by the way. When you look into the future, I bet you'll see that Kevin continues to repeat this pattern.
There you go. Keep it
always making the same movie.
Never,
nothing new.
Well, that's because, I don't know if you know this, but in classical storytelling, there were only 3 stories that could ever be told. Man versus man, man versus environment, and man versus himself. So Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, all 3.
And I've heard that
with
you know,
go ahead, bust Proust. Say Proust again.
Dissecting Shakespeare.
Hey, I'm talking to you. Hey, young lady, get back here, young lady.
No, you can't tell me what to do. I don't have to do anything you say.
Yes, you do.
Why?
Because I'm your father, that's why.
So what?
Don't you yell at me, Gertrude.
I'll yell at you all I want, blah, blah, blah. I'm not moving to the stupid city.
All right, that's it. You are moving to the city, and you're gonna like it, and that's the end.
I hate you, I wish you died, not Mommy.
I hate you right back, you little shit. You and your mother took my life away, and I just want it back.
The scene in Jersey Girl where you yell at the little girl, I thought was pretty brave. Was it tough to do?
This movie,
I think it's easy for you to yell at children. I see you do it all the time.
And to pretend to kill small animals, because that's just what I do for joy. You know what? People say like this movie's a departure, and it never struck me as such. Doesn't strike me as such now.
For you or for me?
For you.
I agree. I think it's like Chasing Amy.
I've been kind of mystified by like the degree to which people
drama.
have said like reaction to this movie was like, this is not a Kevin Smith movie, or this isn't. You know, to me. And maybe just it's from knowing you personally or whatever. This seems like the most Kevin Smith movie. You know what I mean? You made it's just.
I'm so glad you have an innate understanding of what is and what isn't and how things work. And thank God you're here to explain it to us all.
Questions, you could just ask me, or you can write in. I mean, an evening with Ben Affleck. Let's see. I might just answer life questions, not about movies or cinema.
You'll answer
films.
questions and people will just sit there nodding at you, going like,
just fucking.
I'm not taking a word of advice from this dude.
Look at this pompous ass.
You know the secret of good Ben Affleck performances? Basically, you write the part so that it's just Ben Affleck. Anytime you put him, anytime you have him running from a space rock, or you put him in tights, tell him to jump off a building or shit like that. Anytime you remove him from who he is, exactly. You got to make him do things and say things the way he does and says them in real life, and then people go like, "That's an amazing performance." And what you know in your heart of hearts is like, it's not a performance. He's just pretending to be himself.
That's nice. This has been an evening with Kevin Smith. It's amazing. I've never met somebody.
I'm gonna sink your boat even harder.
I mean, what else stories can you tell? You already tell a bunch of lies. Tell the fucking people how you're just taking their hard-earned shekels to buy your fucking asinine Jay and Bob T-shirts and shit, selling them fucking bookends with your visage on them.
No complaints.
Over the internet, you're like 85. It's porcelain. You're like the fucking QVC. You get on the TV and you're like, folks, you might think this is $119. No. We can get you the last Jay and Bob bookshelf.
What you seem to forget conveniently in a situation like this is I only create the merchandise that people ask me to create, so I'm only giving them what they want.
Just giving me bad people.
And I also remember,
like, we need another T-shirt with your face on it.
Well, Jay, we're bound to run into you again. Till then, keep your unit on you.
I'll try. No. Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off. We got a bus to catch. Get on, bitch. Man, why do you always have to tell that fucking gay story for? Shut up. You shut up, you fat fuck.
I think actually the fact that Kevin's movies are characterized by like this combination of serious subject matter interwoven with humor is just a reflection of the fact that that's, you know, you couldn't make that up if you didn't have that perspective, if you didn't have that worldview to begin with. It's sort of who Kevin is. He's able to go back and forth between those two things fluidly as a person or as a conversationalist, and so that's in his movies. It's a hard thing to do. It's also one of the things that I think that's one of the like sort of either you got it or you don't things that is why Kevin's movies always, no matter what the subject matter is, feel like Kevin's movies. You don't have a like, you know, I guess Woody Allen is obviously somebody who you think of who's got a very distinct feel, and you know there are filmmakers who you just, you know from seeing them, you may hate their work, you may love it, but when you see it, you know that's them. It's very distinct and specific to them and their voice, and that I really like because it means you're seeing something specific. Somebody's taking a risk. Somebody who's got a point of view. It's not generic, and it's not a just kind of homogenous regurgitation of, you know, the last 6 movies that, you know, did well, or what people think, you know, people want to see, or whatever it is that's popular at the time. Rather, this is somebody who's got his own distinct voice and is, you know, using that to tell a story in a really honest way. And I think that's why, even though movies like Dogma and Jay and Bob and Jersey Girl and Chasing Amy and Clarks are all really different, actually, they have a strong unifying, you know, sense of perspective, and that's Kevin's voice. And I don't know that you could teach it or pick it up or say, or even that Kevin consciously was like, well, I'm gonna you know, take this scene and I'm gonna put a spin on it by inserting comedy at these specific points. I think it just comes naturally to him. Although I do sometimes hear you say like some remark about putting sugar with the medicine or something like that.
Spoonful of sugar helps the medicine good. And I stole that from Mary Poppins. Flat out stole it.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
You are, can I tell you something? You are a fuck what is long-winded. You went on, I was looking at the clock and that response, which while you said kind things about me, I was sitting there going like tick,
well
tick,
thought
tick.
through, cogent.
Not really.
Makes sense from
Basically,
beginning to end. Well structured.
Basically,
not
you
curses
it's
and
about
chuckles.
You 5 seconds of filler between throwing out terms like homogeneous regurgitation. You know, it's just
Kevin, that's part of the English
dude,
language.
You're smart,
Don't be afraid
and you
of
know you're
two-syllable
smart.
words.
You don't have to tell people or show people how smart you are.
They're your friends.
I know how smart you are. That's
3
all that
syllables
matters.
even. You can do it, big boy. Come
I got
on.
3 syllables for you. Shut the fuck up.
Thanks, folks. We'll be back next week for an evening of Kevin Smith and friends. The captain and from Captain Kangaroo and the whole gang. What's his companion?
Green Jeans.
Mr. Green Jeans. I blew it. Thanks. Good night.